Good morning, everyone. My name is Denise Flores. I'm the director here for the Workforce Development Center, and I'm going to go ahead and introduce my team. You guys are probably familiar with them because they have helped you out in some of our services. So I'm going to go ahead and get started over here.
With a show of hands, who knows where the workforce
Actually, that's true.
center is?
Nice. I love it. Yes. So you all know what we do, right? Okay.
Y'all are good. So I don't need the mic. I'm Javi Gutierrez. I'm there at the Workforce Development Center.
My name is Brianna Enriquez, and I'm also there. I'm the engagement specialist.
My name is Brianna, and I'm the navigation specialist.
Well, welcome everybody. I hope you're having an awesome morning. We're going to be giving tips of the landing the dream job. My name is Soraya Garza. I work for the city of Laredo for over 18 years, and I'm working as a payroll manager right now. And I have over 25 years experience in payroll.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Lilia Romero. I have 14 years of experience as an occupational therapy assistant, and I'm pursuing my bachelor's degree in organizational leadership here at Laredo College.
Hello, my name is Larissa Madrigal. I currently work here at Laredo College. This is my third year, and I am also doing the bachelor's here of organizational leadership.
So we're going to be giving you tips of how to prepare a resume, the do's and don'ts of an actual interview, and the dress for success.
We're going to start with the resume part. Does everyone here know what a resume is? Yes, no, show hands. Your resume is your first impression to a potential employer. This professional document is gonna summarize your work experience, your skills, and your qualifications. Our content in the resume, we wanna have, of course, our name, our contact information, your objective, what you're applying for, your work experience, your education, your skills, and any certifications or licenses that you might have accomplished. This is an example of a professional layout, and as mentioned before, we have our name on the top, contact information, which is a phone number, and a professional email. We always want to include a professional email. For example, including an email that reads eoromero@gmail.com. It's a better choice than, what did you say? Sweetkitty@hotmail.com. Correct? We all agree, right? So then we list all the skills, your work experience, your education, and we also want to include languages. If you have a second language, it's always a plus for you. Don'ts. There's some things that we want to stay away from including in our resume, including GPA. Instead, we want to include all your degrees earned and the day that you accomplish them. We want to stay away from jargon, and instead we want to do direct statements and define your role in your previous jobs. And lastly, we want to stay away from personal information, from including personal information. So we're going to list experiences and accomplishments that you have acquired.
Okay, we're going to be looking at a video on the don'ts of an interview. If you could relate to anything that has in the video, I do recommend you talk to the Workforce Center so they could guide you on the right direction, okay? So hopefully no one can actually has gone through this experience before.
Hi, you must be Corey. Hey, Josh, how's it going? How's it going?
Hey, I'm Tyler. I'm here for the 12 o'clock interview.
It's 12:45. So what made you decide on Texas Tech? Well, I'm from Lubbock. I've been here my whole life. My family's here, and my mom went to Tech, so it was just kind of, second nature for me to want to go here. You really like Cheez-Its? Oh, I love me some Cheez-Its. Do you typically bring Cheez-Its whenever you go to things like these? Most of the time. Everywhere. Tyler, it sure was a pleasure meeting you. I do appreciate you coming in.
Yeah, thank you. Up top, too slow. Pound it. Snail.
So Josh, tell me a little bit about yourself. What do you like to do for fun? What are some of your hobbies? Well, I kind of like outdoor stuff. I've always been an avid hunter, and I like hiking and doing things of that nature. So what are some of your strengths? What do you think best qualifies you for this job? Hold on 1 second, sorry. I gotta take this. What's going on, man? What are you doing? Oh, shit. Not a whole lot. I'm interviewing. Yeah, no. You gotta get a job sometime, though. Yeah, I hear you. Are we still gonna go get wasted tonight? Shoot, yeah. Alright. Sounds good. Well, I probably ought to get back to this thing. This guy's waiting on me, so. Yep. Alright. Catch you later. Bye-bye. I think you'd really like it. It's a pretty relaxed environment.
Well, how much am I going to get paid?
Well, that's something we'll probably discuss with you if you make it to the second or third round of interviews.
Come on. We talking 40, 50, or what do you think?
That's really something that we'll discuss later on in the interviewing process. You must be Tyler.
Yes. How are you doing?
I'm Josh. Doing good. How are you?
Doing good.
Go ahead and have a seat.
Thanks.
Do you have a resume that I could look over?
Well, do you have a pen?
Actually, I do.
All right. Let's see right here.
Do you need a piece of paper?
No, I think I'm good.
Well, actually, we've got a limited amount of time here, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. If you had to guess, how many balls do you think it would take to fill this room? Well, there's 4 in here right now, and it sure would take a lot more.
Hopefully you guys do not relate to all those information, and being especially inappropriate in an interview. So let's talk about the do's of an interview. As soon as you walk into that building, somebody's looking at you. So greet, be polite, and smile with the people that are around you in the building. As you could see, that person was not prepared with his resume. And don't just bring one copy to the interview. Bring several copies, probably at least 5. Because sometimes in companies, they have a panel of 3 or 4 people interviewing. That way, at least each person will get a copy of the resume. Also, research on the company that you're going to be applying for, especially the position. They could ask you, if you're aligned with the goals of the company, and you'll be aware of what their goals are or objectives. Also, on the position, in case they ask you something related to the position, you will be informed of what you're applying for. So that's very important when you do before you go into the interview. Traditional handshake, not the high five or like how we saw in the interview, traditional handshake, that's sufficient. Also, elaborate any answers, anything that they ask you, elaborate anything that that's going to help you to get that position. So, try to elaborate on the points that it's going to help you towards getting that position. And talk about special projects, any special projects that you actually acquired in previous jobs, or even a project that you did during school that you know that you excelled on. Talk about that project and see how you started and what was accomplished with that project. That's always helpful as well. And thank everybody that's in the room for the time that they actually spent interviewing you. They took a time. My past experience, and in our organization, we're actually doing that. They're grading us now. When you're taking an actual interview, they actually have a piece of paper and they're actually grading you on the answers, how you conduct yourself, especially for those people, even though you don't believe it, I'm a shy person, but you need to be outgoing, and, when you're being interviewed. We just had one probably like 2 months ago. Most of the personnel, we knew that one of the persons that was being actually interviewed, but what did not get him the job, even though he was so qualified for the job, that he was not out there. He was not, expressing himself. He was just answering yes and no, and that's about it. Especially being in a management position, you need to be a little bit more outgoing. So even though, we're shy, let's try to enforce ourselves, to be a little bit more outgoing, because that would always help, especially during the interviews. Okay. If you have any other questions with the interviews, in case you want to ask, on one-on-one, the Workforce Development Center is always, willing to help you all with that. Okay, we're going to do a little activity. We have questions on top of each desk, on the table. Whoever answers, the question that we have there will get a little gift from us. So who wants to be the first one? Any volunteers? And remember, we're not here to grade you or anything like that, so you'll get a little gift, and you never know. You'll be okay. Go ahead. What was the question on your table? Okay.
How do you deal with pressure or stressful situations? I kind of meditate, just like in my mind without closing my eyes, breathe in and out, and put my thoughts together. That's it. Okay.
Okay, anybody else wants to answer?
Well, the question is, can you tell me something of yourself? I love painting, I love art, and the reason why I chose my career psychology is because I want to help people avoid suicide, and just want to help. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else on this table over here? Anyone that wants to? Over here? Okay, you guys can think about it, then we'll come back. Who's gonna be?
So the question is, what are my strengths? I would say I'm very outgoing, easy to talk to. I don't get nervous or shy at all. I work at the advising center, so if you need help over there with the schedules, you could talk to me over here. No worries, don't be shy or nothing. I got you. And yeah, so that's one of my biggest strengths. I don't get nervous, no shyness. Yeah, that's me. And I'm Ronnie, by the way, just to let y'all know. Nice to meet y'all.
Okay, you want to? Okay.
Okay, my name is Cynthia Rangel, and our question is, can you describe a time when you identified a business process that wasn't working well? So with my current employer, we work on holidays, weekends, night and day. So we had an issue with people calling in like on Valentine's, Easter, Mother's Day, Father's Day, we're open. And what we did is we implemented a policy to pay time and a half for whenever you would go, and then even to bump up salaries to a minimum of 15. So you would make a 15 wage plus time and a half, you were making 22.50, and we did it standard across the hourly employees. So all of a sudden, all 169 employees wanted to show up, and when it came time to payroll, it was like, wow, where are we gonna make up for this? So that it didn't pan out. I mean, the people showed up, but it probably should have just been like one or the other, either the time and a half or the additional rate.
Thank you. That's a good Okay.
Okay, our question is, I'm Karina, and the question is, tell me about a situation where you had to inspire and motivate your team during a challenging project. What strategies did you use to keep the team focused and committed to the mission? I used to work as a UASD transportation dispatcher, and this past year we had an incident that we had an active shooter in Alexander, one of the high schools. Uh, it was during the morning, and our lunch was about to begin, so we had to all go back into the office. The situation got to a point that we had to call the drivers and the monitors to come back inside to work, and they need to do their route, go inside the school, get the kids out. It was challenging for me because all my team, all my supervisors were all nervous. Like they were shaking, they were like nervous. And I was like, we need to calm down, we need to focus, we need to bring all the drivers and monitors inside. The job got done. Everybody was clapping and hugging each other after that because it was so stressing. It was like we were all shaking. Even I was shaking. I'm shaking now because I'm remembering. But that was one of my situations, and I had to keep them calm, like because if it's a teamwork, it's not only one, it's a teamwork for everything else.
Did you all answer? I guess you did. Well, thank you everybody for answering those questions. And at the end, you could get a gift from here. And if you don't have anything here, Workforce Development Center would also be able to give you a gift. Okay.
Okay, so now we're gonna start with dressing for success. So dressing for success isn't just about looking good, it's about feeling confident and making a positive first impression. A little quote I did add here, it says you can have anything you want in life if you dress for it. Okay, so now we have a couple of pictures on a couple of do's you want to do in an interview and a couple of don'ts you don't want to do during an interview. So the first picture we have here, they are a couple of ladies in suits in a skirt that is below the knees. Here we have a picture of a couple of blouses, super classy, super cute. On this side, on these two pictures, we have some inspo of some pictures or outfits you're looking into if you do have an interview coming up. We also have him, he's wearing a business suit, very business casual. On the don'ts, we have this guy on this side, he's wearing ripped jeans. You do not want to wear ripped jeans during an interview. And on this side, we also have a couple of blouses, tank tops you don't want to wear, some skirts, some shorts that you do not want to that you want to stay away from when you're going to an interview. And as well, like I said about the skirts, you want it to be below the knees, not above, just so it could look a little bit more professional. And on this side, so we do have the makeup. So obviously you want to wear makeup to an interview. You want to feel confident. Going into an interview, you want to be very classy, very cutesy. So obviously a little bit of makeup is good. You just don't want to overdo it. And on this side, so we have the piercings. So I would suggest looking into the company's policy and seeing what they say on it. If you don't find anything on the policy, I would suggest going to the actual company, seeing what everybody's wearing, what they have on, if they also as well have piercings on. And the next slide. Yeah. So for this slide, if you just graduated, if you were looking for jobs and you're like, okay, I want to start looking for jobs, but I just don't know where to look, we do have a couple of links here. We have USA Jobs for any federal jobs you're looking into. We also have Indeed, Career Builder, ZipRecruiter, Glassdoor, and LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is like a professional Facebook for companies to go ahead and look for you. You can go ahead and add what information you've done regarding work. And for Laredo College, we have the Workforce Development Center. They can also go ahead and help you out once you graduate to look for a job. So this concludes our presentation. Thank you guys so much for listening to us. Now we're going to open the floor up to you guys if you guys have any questions. No? You guys are like, no. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do, we're going to go ahead and finish up the assessment. A question? Yes. So let's say you're gonna apply to the railroads. Obviously, you're not gonna go in a business suit to go ahead and go for your interview. So it would just depend on the field you are going into and dressing appropriately for that field. Yes. Yes. So for your resume, I would suggest not to put any personal information on it to keep it as professional as possible because when you go ahead and apply, obviously they're not gonna go ahead and look at what your favorite movies are. Yes. Yes. No pictures. You wanna elaborate?
No pictures. You don't want to be judged by your looks. You want to be judged by your qualifications.
So I would suggest not wearing leggings over a blazer. But again, I would suggest going to the yeah, but I would suggest going to the company's policy and seeing what they say, or actually going to the company and seeing if they are wearing leggings or if the blazer's over the leggings. But I would suggest keeping it slacks would be the best option. Yes. Any more questions? No.
I'm sorry. I want to make sure that you guys are showing or telling us what skills can you offer to my team right here. Javi, do you have anything? I'm sorry.
Learn something about the company. So wherever you go, wherever you apply to, learn a little bit of information about that company. You don't have to learn the whole history of the company, just something about that company. I've been read the history of the company, where it was founded, who founded it, in what year. It impressed me. I did hire that person at that time. It is a good asset because tells the interviewer, the person you're interviewing, that's interviewing you, that you really took the time to know the company. Lowe's was founded when? Right? Right, Molly? So we get to know. When you interview them, you get to know them. And you get to know that this person actually took the time to know about the company. It impresses the person that's interviewing you.
Okay, we have another question here.
I know it's important, like to what resumes do they look the most, like the electronically or like the paper one, or the both are important?
Everything is submitted through an online, right? So you have to, if it's a courteous thing for you to take a resume in person, just do it. But obviously, you are going to be submitting everything electronically, so they should receive it. But it's just a courteous thing to do. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Always to be ready because in case they haven't, didn't print it, you want them to have it right in front of them. They may not use it, but it's a good thing to have for you to be prepared, and they can show it to them. And that's the thing about the resume. Another thing is emails. Do a professional email. I've seen the worst emails, and like she can vouch for us, right? So do not use something that has bad language in there, something personal in there. Don't do that. Put an email, get your name professionally, put something in there, get a Gmail account that will look professional. Okay? Can't stress that enough.
Just a few tips because I've done a few, conducted a few interviews myself, and we usually have like a panel of 5, 6 people. And we've seen people that they show up and their shirt's really wrinkled. I've seen people with like pink hair, or the jewelry is just very chunky, like where they'll have these big hoops or these like really big necklaces that cause like too much attention. But then there's good interviews where even in a 5 panel, if they ask a question to the person turns around, looks at the person directly who's asking them, and answers their question directly, and then goes to the next person and the next person with that, answering their question, and that helps a lot whenever, um, they do, whenever we do them.
Exactly. And it is, read the room, read the company you're applying to. You're going to address that part. Back where my experience with people coming in for interviews, I had, even though we were a hardware company, I would have people come in shorts and in chanclas and in cut-off shirts. It doesn't look good. It's still a professional environment. Read the room, read where you're going to be applying to. If you're going to apply at a bank, you know what you're going to have to wear.
From what I've learned is that when it comes to interviews, you're supposed to like show like respect, like not cross your hands or slouch, pretty much like straight, sit up straight, right?
Right. It's about body language, and you want
That
to,
body language,
yeah.
yes, that's what I was trying to look
Yeah.
for. That's what I pretty much learned when I was in class when I took like I forgot the class name, but that's what I learned. I learned a few things about when it comes to
interviews
interviews and stuff like that.
Yeah, direct eye contact,
Direct eye
fidgeting
contact,
with
yeah.
your hair, hands, moving them around. If you keep them steady and in place, it shows them that you're going to be nervous no matter what, but try not to show that too much. It's just keeping a positive body language.
Okay, just wanted to confirm it.
Perfect. Yes, we do want to maintain our body language open, right? So when we go into an interview and we come in, and the first impression that you're doing, and if you have your hands crossed, you come off as you don't want to talk, right? So you want to be open. You want to have open, have your hands on the side, so that shows that you're willing to talk to the employers, right? To the hiring managers. It's a good presentation of yourself. You're giving a good first impression. Be upbeat, be bright. Go in there with a positive attitude. Don't fidget with your hair. Get your hair out of your face. Look presentable, right? That's what we want to do.
And then just going back to the resume, something we've also noticed in our office is that a lot of students don't capitalize certain, important, like cities, your name, or, the phone number, just having like that good formatting. That's another pointer that we do want to point out because we've noticed that, or even their names, you guys' names. Like if my name is Brianna Enriquez, like why is it all lowercase? Like you should always, uppercase the first letter of your first name and then the last name, and then, just if you're writing a phone number, you want to make sure that it's easy for the employer to read it, or your email, you want to make sure that you're following your grammar, because if you can't even capitalize like your first name, or, Laredo, they're going to be like, well, is this person really even putting any effort into the application? It says a lot about you, even if it's just a tiny grammatical error. it could really cost you, you know, that interview.
I also want to make sure that you guys know that when there's different types of resumes, okay? So the resume that the industry or the employer is asking for, you need to look at what type. For example, federal resumes are completely different to your average, your industry, like local resumes. A federal resume is going to ask you to determine your skills in paragraphs, not particularly in bullet points, as opposed to a regular resume, your traditional resume, where you're just bullet point, bullet point, bullet point of what you did. Federal resume is going to immediately remove you if you're not following their guidelines. So here at our office, we can actually specifically help you and identify the industry's type of resume, and we can help you and guide you through that workshop, right, or session. I do want to point out also that we are going to have a federal resume workshop scheduled on, Ms. Brianda?
The 26th of September. We're going to be having it in room 222. So you're more than welcome to attend, or if you have any friends or family that are currently in Palomino or an alumni of ours, they can attend the workshop and learn about how to create a federal government resume. Free snacks. And you can RSVP. Yeah, you definitely can.
And last but not least, guys, if you are going to be interviewing for student employee or work study positions, okay, listen up. Do not show up looking unprofessional. I want you all to show up wearing nice pants. I'm not telling you to go buy slacks. You can wear a nice pair of jeans. Do not wear torn jeans at all. Wear a nice shirt, non-wrinkled, please, because us as the departments, imagine we are going to hire you guys. You are going to represent our department. For example, we're going to be hiring 2 positions here. And so my expectation is for my students that are going to be applying here is to show that they care about career services as well, because this is the industry they're going to represent. So please be aware of the positions you're applying for. Please be aware of what the dress code is. If you know you have an interview coming up, go walk around. Walk around the area, see what it is. I'm not asking you to go and stalk, right? We don't want that, but we want you to walk around, learn the room, feel the room, see, okay, so people are wearing pants, wearing khakis, wearing jeans. Okay, I know I have an idea of what I need to wear. So be careful with that, because us, the employers, the departments, we do see that. Because what do we expect? We hope that in the future, once you graduate, you come back to us and you maybe start applying with us, and we at least know what kind of person you guys are. We know that you all are dedicated. We know that you take all of this very, very serious. So everything, your first impression really matters to us, okay?
Is there anybody else that has other questions? No?
If you take something, the first impression is the lasting impression of that person. When you walk into that room and they see you, the way you're dressed, it's gonna last forever. I remember these images of people coming into my office on how they were dressed. From the chanclas to the shorts to the socks with chanclas to the people with cut off shirts, caps, everything. So make sure you impress the person, the company you're interviewing with. It's not wasting their time. Because remember, they're taking their time to interview you. Respect that. If you show up prepared, ready for an interview, speaks a lot about you to them. But if you're not prepared, same thing. It tells them that you really didn't care. So just remember that little tidbit.
Okay, so also if you are no longer interested in applying for that certain position, you want to go ahead and be very mindful. You want to go ahead and call them and let them know that you are going to withdraw your application and that you don't want to work there anymore, just so you can give them the heads up and the courtesy that they do still have that available position open. Any questions? Any more questions? Yes?
Yeah, the mic, they're recording.
Okay. Besides dressing up nice for an interview, it's also important to smell good. Sometimes I've seen people who wears like really strong colognes or perfumes that intoxicates the whole room. And it's really hard to concentrate even for the interviewer, like to ask good questions. Just throwing a dot out there.
Any more questions? Yes.
I had a comment. So, as someone who myself, I have ADHD, so it's very hard for me to stay focused. If you do have ADHD or anything like that, it's very courteous to mention it to the person who's interviewing you, especially in a professional setting. That way, they're aware. If they do see you like fidgeting or something, they know why. It's or mentioning it to them when you go in is how me myself I've done multiple interviews, and a lot of times when I don't mention it is when I don't get the job. But the two interviews I mentioned it in, I got both the jobs. Sometimes the company is good, sometimes it's not. It just depends on how you present yourself. Like they were saying, dress nice. Not always a suit. I know, like for me personally, my go-to is a plain white polo with khakis or something that usually is these shows you're trying. But yeah, I just wanted to comment on that.
Yes. Any questions, comments? Okay, so this concludes our presentation and our questions. You guys can go ahead and go to the back. We do have snacks and the sandwiches available at this time. Yes.